Have you ever locked eyes with a man and just known he was drawn to you, even if he never said a word? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, believed that attraction isn't just about what men say, it's hidden in their unconscious behaviors. And once you learn to spot these subtle signs, you'll never question his interest again. Carl Jung revolutionized psychology by uncovering how the unconscious mind shapes our desires, fears, and even who we're attracted to. He discovered that men project their ideal traits onto women they admire, meaning their true feelings leak out in ways they can't control. Whether it's mirroring your movements, finding excuses to be near you, or playfully teasing you, these aren't random acts. They're unconscious signals of attraction, rooted in Jung's theories of the anima, the shadow, and archetypes. So why does this matter? Because words can lie, but the unconscious never does. If you've ever doubted whether a man truly thinks you're beautiful, these 4 signs, backed by Jung's research, will give you the clarity you've been looking for. Sign number 1. He mirrors your body language. When a man is genuinely attracted to you, his body will often betray his feelings before his words do, and Carl Jung's concept of the anima explains why. The anima represents the unconscious feminine side of a man, the hidden ideal of beauty, grace, and allure that lives in his psyche. When he encounters a woman who embodies these qualities, even in small ways, his unconscious mind compels him to subconsciously align with her. This is why mirroring is such a powerful sign of attraction. If you notice him leaning in when you do, crossing his arms after you've done the same, or even matching the rhythm of your speech, it's not a coincidence. His nervous system is literally syncing with yours, an unconscious dance of connection that Jung believed reveals deeper layers of desire. One of the most telling ways this manifests is through prolonged eye contact. Jung famously wrote that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and when a man holds your gaze just a little longer than necessary, it's because something in you resonates with his anima. He's not just looking at you, he's seeing you, drawn in by an almost magnetic pull. At the same time, you might catch him making small, nervous adjustments, running a hand through his hair, touching his neck, or straightening his clothes. These aren't just random fidgets, they're unconscious attempts to present himself at his best, a primitive instinct to appear more desirable to someone who has captured his attention. You've probably experienced this phenomenon in everyday life without even realizing it. Think about the last time you were with a close friend or someone you deeply connected with. Chances are, without thinking, you both started mirroring each other's posture, gestures, or even energy levels. This natural synchronization is a sign of rapport, and when it happens with a man who's attracted to you, it's amplified by the anima's influence. So the next time you notice him subtly reflecting your movements or holding your gaze a beat too long, remember, his unconscious mind is already telling you everything you need to know. Sign number 2. He finds excuses to be near you. There's something almost primal about how a man positions himself when he's drawn to someone, and Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious helps explain this instinctive behavior. Deep in every man's psyche lies ancient patterns of attraction, hardwired impulses that drive him to seek closeness with those who captivate him. You'll notice it in the way he always seems to end up near you, even in a crowded room. It might appear accidental, a coincidental seat choice at a group dinner, standing just a little too close in conversation, but these subtle maneuvers reveal an unconscious pull. Jung believed this territorial behavior stems from humanity's shared psychological inheritance, an innate understanding that proximity creates opportunity for connection. Pay attention to what happens when conversations should naturally end. Does he linger, finding just one more thing to say? This hesitation isn't random, it's his unconscious mind resisting separation. Even more telling is when he volunteers to help you with tasks, no matter how small. Jung connected this behavior to the hero archetype, a fundamental male drive to demonstrate competence and value. Whether it's carrying something heavy, fixing a tech issue, or offering advice, these acts of service aren't just about being helpful. They're rituals of courtship embedded in the collective unconscious, ways for him to silently communicate his interest while testing the waters of your response. The key insight here is consistency. If you notice him repeatedly creating these moments of nearness, it's not circumstance, it's his unconscious mind orchestrating opportunities for connection. This behavior transcends cultural norms and personal upbringing, tapping into what Jung described as universal human patterns. Like migratory birds following invisible paths, men compelled by attraction will unconsciously navigate spaces to remain close to those who activate their deeper psychological currents. When you recognize this pattern, you're not just seeing a man's actions, you're witnessing ancient psychology in motion. Sign number 3. He teases you playfully. When a man starts playfully teasing you, giving you nicknames, gently poking fun at your quirks, or engaging in witty banter, there's far more happening beneath the surface than simple humor. According to Jungian psychology, this behavior emerges from what Carl Jung called the shadow, the hidden part of our psyche containing repressed traits, desires, and impulses we don't fully acknowledge in ourselves. When attraction sparks, this teasing becomes a way for him to interact with you while maintaining just enough emotional distance to feel safe. The paradox is fascinating. Through these light jabs and humorous challenges, he's actually signaling interest, using humor as both a bridge and a buffer between vulnerability and connection. This playful dynamic often extends beyond just the two of you. You might notice his friends treating you differently when you're around them, exchanging knowing glances, joining in on the teasing, but never cruelly, or even going out of their way to include you in conversations. These group behaviors are significant because, as Jung observed, social dynamics reveal unconscious approvals. If his friends pick up on his attraction and respond accordingly, it's because they're reflecting what he may not be openly admitting yet. Their behavior acts as a mirror to his genuine interest, one that even he might not be fully aware of himself. However, there's an important caveat to recognize. While light teasing can be a sign of affection, excessive or cutting remarks might signal something deeper, what Jung termed the inferiority complex. In these cases, the teasing isn't playful banter but rather a defense mechanism, a way to keep you at arm's length while simultaneously engaging with you. This type of interaction often stems from unresolved insecurities or fears of genuine intimacy. The difference lies in the emotional tone. Healthy teasing feels inclusive and warm, while insecurity-driven teasing carries an edge of discomfort or genuine criticism. Understanding this distinction helps you recognize whether his behavior is the playful dance of attraction or a red flag signaling emotional unavailability. The beauty of Jung's shadow concept is that it explains why this teasing behavior feels so charged with energy. It's the tension between what's being expressed and what's being held back. Every playful challenge contains a kernel of truth, every joke a disguised admission of interest. When you notice this pattern, you're essentially seeing a man's psyche in motion, watching as his unconscious finds creative ways to connect while still protecting his vulnerability. This makes teasing one of the most psychologically revealing signs of attraction, if you know how to read between the lines. Sign number 4. He remembers small details about you. When a man begins remembering the small, seemingly insignificant details about you, the coffee order you mentioned once in passing, the name of your childhood pet, or how you prefer your books arranged, you're witnessing something extraordinary in Jungian terms, the dropping of the persona. Carl Jung described the persona as the mask we wear in social situations, the carefully curated version of ourselves we present to the world. But when genuine attraction takes root, this facade begins to slip, revealing something far more meaningful, a man who isn't just performing social niceties, but who is truly paying attention because his unconscious mind has marked you as important. This phenomenon manifests most tellingly in how he recalls details you never expected him to remember. When he references an offhand comment you made weeks earlier or asks follow-up questions about stories you barely remember telling, it demonstrates something beyond good memory. It shows active psychological investment. Jung would argue this is the unconscious at work, bypassing the usual social filters because something about you has captivated him on a deeper level. Even more revealing is when he notices subtle changes before anyone else does. A new shade in your hair, a different perfume, even shifts in your mood. This attentiveness signals that his observation of you isn't passive. You've become someone he studies not just with his eyes, but with his unconscious mind. The depth of his questions offers perhaps the clearest window into this psychological shift. Where casual acquaintances might stick to surface-level topics, a genuinely interested man will begin asking questions that invite real disclosure about your childhood fears, your secret ambitions, or how you developed certain values. Jung connected this to the process of individuation, the lifelong journey towards psychological wholeness. In asking these questions, he's not just making conversation. He's demonstrating that his unconscious recognizes you as someone who could contribute to his own journey of self-discovery. This explains why these moments often feel so intimate. They represent a temporary suspension of the persona, a rare glimpse behind the social mask at the authentic self beneath. What makes this sign particularly powerful is its resistance to falsification. While many attraction behaviors can be consciously performed, this sustained, detail-oriented attention is nearly impossible to fake convincingly. It requires what Jung called psychological energy, actual mental and emotional resources being redirected toward you. When you notice a man demonstrating this level of recall and curiosity, you're not just observing attraction, you're witnessing the gradual dissolution of psychological barriers, one remembered detail at a time. In Jung's framework, this represents one of the highest compliments the psyche can pay, the unconscious decision that you're worth the vulnerable, energy-intensive act of truly being seen. The distinction between fleeting attraction and something more profound lies at the heart of Jungian psychology, revealing itself through subtle but crucial differences in how a man engages with you. Superficial attraction, according to Jung, operates primarily through projection. He admires an idealized version of you that exists in his psyche rather than the complex, multifaceted person you truly are. You'll recognize this when his interest seems to wax and wane based on his mood, when his compliments feel generic rather than specific, or when he shows little curiosity about the parts of you that don't directly serve his fantasy. This kind of attraction is like a spark, bright and intense, but ultimately brief, burning out once reality fails to match his unconscious ideal. True depth of feeling reveals itself through his engagement with what Jung called your anima, not just your outward appearance, but the full spectrum of your being, including the quirks, flaws, and contradictions that make you uniquely you. A man genuinely drawn to your essence will demonstrate this by engaging with your passions, even those that don't interest him personally. He'll listen attentively when you explain why you love that obscure hobby, remember the names of your favorite authors, or notice how your voice changes when discussing your dreams. This goes beyond mere politeness. It's evidence that his unconscious has registered you as someone worth understanding in your totality. One of the most reliable indicators of deeper connection appears in his social behavior. Jung placed great importance on what he termed social archetypes, the roles we play within our tribes and communities. When a man begins introducing you to his inner circle, not just casual acquaintances but the people who truly matter to him, he's performing a psychological act of trust that speaks volumes. These introductions represent more than social convenience. They signal that his unconscious has categorized you as someone who belongs in his world long-term. Similarly, observe how he speaks about you to others. Does he highlight your intelligence, your humor, your character? These choices reveal whether he sees you as a complete person or merely as an attractive presence in his life. The most revealing test of all lies in how he responds to your less polished moments. When you're stressed, when you make mistakes, or when you reveal vulnerabilities, does his interest remain steady? Jung taught us that the shadow aspects of personality, the parts we often hide, are where true intimacy either flourishes or fails. A man projecting fantasies will withdraw when faced with your humanity, while one genuinely connected to your anima will find these moments deepening rather than diminishing his regard. This distinction separates temporary infatuation from the kind of attraction that has roots strong enough to grow into something lasting, the difference between being admired for what you represent and being valued for who you truly are. To discern his level of investment, ask yourself these questions. Does his curiosity about you seem endless, or does it stop at surface-level traits? Does he make space for your emotional reality, or does he expect you to always fit his ideal? The answers will show you whether you're dealing with a passing fascination or the beginnings of what Jung might call a true psychological partnership, one where both individuals are seen, valued, and challenged to grow in authentic connection with one another. This is the difference between being someone's temporary fascination and becoming part of their inner world, a distinction that changes everything about how you interpret his actions and intentions. What makes Carl Jung's insights so powerful is that they reveal how attraction operates beneath the surface, where words can deceive, but the unconscious never lies. Mirroring your movements, seeking your proximity, teasing you with playful energy, and remembering the smallest details about you. These aren't just random behaviors. They're the silent language of male attraction, written in the subconscious. When you recognize these signs, you're not just guessing how he feels, you're decoding the hidden signals his mind can't help but send. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs have you noticed most in your own experiences? Have you ever been surprised by how accurately a man's unconscious behavior revealed his true feelings? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'll be reading every response. And if you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more psychology-driven dating insights. Want us to dive deeper into Jungian attraction? Maybe explore how women unconsciously signal interest, or how to tell if a man's attachment style aligns with yours. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Until then, keep observing, stay curious, and remember, the truth of attraction isn't always in what's said, but in what the unconscious can't help but reveal.